Today we're in the middle of nowhere, in a tank cemetery. These dunes cover an area 3 miles by 1 mile. It must be one of the most desolate places in Normandy. I spent most of the day here and saw just one person. Some think these tanks were left here during the Battle of Normandy. That's not the case though. These tanks were used by the French army as targets on this firing range. It was used till around 2004, then it still came under the Ministry of Defence until 2014, when they relinquished control and the public was allowed access. It was considered that the cost of removing the tanks was not worth the small benefit of doing so. So here they still are. When you look across the expanse of Graffitied dunes, you can't see them as they're in depressions. Luckily, they're marked on Google Maps. The first Sherman I found has suffered a lot. The turret was broken in half, with part placed in the turret well and the other part on the ground. You can see the armour plating is 2 inches thick, easily pierced. That's why Shermans would often have another plate welded on the outside to protect the ammunition. This Sherman has many holes in it from being a target on the range. Ten minutes from the first tank is another Sherman. This one is more intact than the first one. Not many holes in it, but covered in graffiti. There's some track here. That's the breech of the gun, which seems to be a 76mm. The remains of one of the 4 hooks to load it into a ship. The maximum load for dock cranes in the US was 40 tons, so they couldn't be much heavier. And having a longer gun than the 75mm would make it difficult to stow them in holes. This is a 76mm gun rifling. From here we can see another tank. This one has no barrel, but has a turret for a 76mm gun. There's some track on the ground as well. The engines of these Shermans were all Wright Whirlwind 9-cylinder radial engines, Designed for aircraft, they were then made by Continental Motors for tanks and other military vehicles. Google Maps tells me that next tank is 25 minutes away, so I decided to go back to the car, then get some lunch and approach the others from the south. From the car park there's half a mile to the beginning of the dunes and then half a mile again. Because few people make the effort of coming here, there's a good selection of wild flowers. This is Calistagia. There is sea holly, horseweed, Microceris lanceolata, western pasca flower. This is a French Panhard EBR self-propelled machine gun, but has a 75mm cannon on it. It was designed in 1939, but couldn't go into production till 1951. A strange beast, it has 8 wheels. On the road it would run on 4, with the central 4 being raised up. On rough ground all 8 would be used. The front and back wheels were special unburstable Michelin tyres. The central 4 were metal. With the front and back wheels steering, it could turn in 20 feet. The advantage of a wheeled armoured vehicle is that even with 2 wheels damaged, the vehicle can move. If one link of a track is broken, the vehicle is immobilised. It could be driven in both directions, having 2 driver positions. The driver would get in place and then put the steering wheel on. Each driver position had a machine gun. They were used in the Algerian War. One of these vehicles, without the turret, was used to take Degaulle's coffin to the cemetery at Colombey-les-Deux-Églises. The Atlantic Wall went from the top of Norway to the Spanish border. That's over 2,000 miles to defend. The only part of the Atlantic Wall that actually was used was between Caen and Utah Beach, and also around Cherbourg. In the dunes of Biville is WN 318. If you want a private beach, you'll find one here. 6 miles of beach and there's nobody. There's an R667 casemate on the beach, and perhaps 2 miles away, more bunkers. There's an R667 on the dunes as well, also shelters and gun pits. The R667 was designed to house a 50mm gun. To the north is the town of La Hague. Over there to the south is the Flamanville nuclear power station.